What's up, everyone? It's Bones here. In today's video, I'll be featuring Gate Guardian at a subscriber's request, but before I begin, if you could happen to click on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons, it'd be greatly appreciated as it goes a long way in supporting the channel and shows me that you like content like this. Clicking on those notification bells would also mean a lot as they notify you when I upload on the channel. To begin, you'll see that I am on another Assault Synchron video, and I thought that there was some pretty cool things that you could do with Gate Guardian along with Assault Synchron that I wanted to show off because it gives people another option for those willing to try something different. And we're going to start by getting our Sangha using the effect of the Magician's Souls, then special summoning it using its effect in order to draw two, in which this case I am going to purposely draw the Suijin and the Kazijin because I want to show something off for the concept of the deck. But now we're going to bring out the Assault Synchron, giving us access to a level 3 Synchro, and we'll bring out the Goyo Defender as we'll be able to special summon 2 other copies of it. And from here we can go into our Isolde, use the Isolde effect in order to send unequipped. You don't want to use the effect to search because you don't want to play any more bricks in deck, but we're going to then special summon out our Renaud, and you'll see that we happen to get the Metal Silver Armor in this particular combo, and this is really cool to pair with your Gate Guardians combined, because while you control the equipped monster, your opponent cannot target monsters on the field in either graveyard or that are banished except the equipped monster, and the Gate Guardians combined is able to negate up to thrice targeting effects. So we're going to then use the effect of Renaud in order to get back the armor. From here we can go into our Apo, special summon out the Gate Guardians combined, equip it to the armor, and from here we can just end our board on that. Now in the second hand, I actually want to show that there's a second use that you can make use of with the armor if you happen to go this route, but we're going to start this one by using the effect of the Shadow Ghoul. We'll then be able to get ourselves the Labyrinth Wall, activate the Labyrinth Wall, then use its effect in order to get ourselves a name. We'll normal summon the Heavy Tank as we'll be able to use its effect in order to get the Kazijin, go into our Double Negator. You can go into whatever fusion you want to at this point. It obviously depends on the situation and what the rest of your hand is, but we're now going to activate the tuning in order to get ourselves the Assault Synchron, and purposely we're going to mill the armor again, and then from here we're going to use the effect of Assault Synchron. Now we can go into our Charles with a equip spell in the graveyard so that we can go into the end phase, use the effect of Charles, and this will give us the targeting protection along with the pop. I'm only showing this if you do happen to want to play the Charles, but if you are going to play the Charles, I also do suggest playing the other Infernoble Knight that happens to protect it from targeting so that you can make a little lock with it. Even if it does mean more bricks, you can easily go over 40, but there is other alternatives that I'll be showing in this video. Now for this next one, you'll see that we're on the Sharnga as well, and there is a good reason for that, as we're going to use the effect of the Shadow Ghoul. We can now get ourselves the Labyrinth Wall, use the effect of the Labyrinth, and from here we can get ourselves a name as we'll be able to normal summon the tank, use its effect in order to get another name. We'll then be able to fuse away, and again, fuse away into whatever you want to depending on what your hand is. But for this one, we're just going to get ourselves the quick play that gives us a pop if we control a Gate Guardian monster. We'll special summon out the Sharnga, and from here we can go into the Shenshen. Now, as stated in the previous combo, I said there was a good reason we're playing the Sharnga, and it is a one-of for the small world. It gives you a ton of stuff that you can just happen to do with this deck, but we're going to activate the small world now, reveal the Shadow Ghoul, banishing the Assault Synchron, getting ourselves the Heavy Tank, and this is just something else I wanted to show, how you can get access into one of your fusions with the small world by playing the Sharnga or the Assault Synchron. So now we can just normal summon our tank, get ourselves another name, and from here we'll fuse away into the Thunder and Wind, I believe it's called, as we'll be able to get ourselves a search for the quick play, set the quick play, and end on that. Now again, I want to come back to another small world line because I feel like if you want to play this version of the deck, it's important to know some of the little things that you can do here to make sure that you're well aware of the things that you have to banish and stuff like that. But we're going to activate the small world now, and the Illusion of Chaos, you won't be banishing it most of the time, you'll be getting the souls with it, but this is just meant to be an example of any other high level level darks you may play that you can small world with. As you saw, we're able to add the Sharinga the way that we were able to banish the Assault Synchron in the last one and get ourselves the heavy tank I believe we got. But we're going to use the effect of the heavy tank in order to get the Kazajan, bring out the Sharinga. From here we can go into the Shenshen, and I know that this does not look like much, but you are playing with a 5-card hand, and in a hand where you have to small world something away, this is essentially just really a 2-card combo in regards to the cards that you're using to get here. Now, I want to come back to the adventure package because I think that there is some merit to it, and I would also like to show this one outside of just the Gate Guardian deck in general. This is something that you can do with any deck that plays the adventure package, and I thought that was pretty awesome. So we're going to start by activating the Rite of Aramis here. We can then use its effect in order to get ourselves the token and the Fateful. Special summon out the Sharinga, use the effect of the Fateful to get ourselves the Draco back. From here we'll then be able to use the Fateful in order to get ourselves the Griffin Rider, pitch our Draco back, then equip the Draco back to the token, special summon out the Griffin Rider to give us the Omni Negate, but we don't really care about the Omni Negate right now as we're going to go into our Boreas Storm, use the effect of the Boreas Storm to send the Zephyros. Zephyros can return itself, as you'll then be able to go into a rank 4 or Synchro 8, as we're going to go into the Axel, bring back the Sharinga, and then you can go into Baron. You can even go into full Armor Master if you want the pop from Sharinga, which is kind of cool. And we still have the Assault Synchron in hand, which will allow us to get access into a level 9 Synchro, giving us access into Shenshen and the Baron. Now, I'm going to start early with the full hands here, and it's because with the Gate Guardian stuff, you typically need at least 2 cards in order to get your pieces, while the Assault Synchron or any other tuner you have in order to Synchro is a 3rd card. So I feel like this is where you can get the most bang for your buck and kind of knowing what this deck does at its full potential. So we're going to start this one by activating the Water Enchantress. We can then get ourselves the Rite, activate the Rite, as we'll get ourselves the token and the Fateful. From here we can activate the Assault Synchron in order to get our Draco back, as we would like the discard. And from here we'll be able to add ourselves the Draco back, as we'll then use the effect of the Fateful in order to get our Griffin Rider, pitch the Draco back, equip the Draco back to the token with its effect, special summon out the Griffin Rider, and from here we can then use the effect of the Illusion of Chaos in order to get the souls. And we'll special summon out the souls, sending the Kazajan, as we'll then be able to use the effect of the Shadow Ghoul in order to get us a 2nd copy of the Labyrinth Wall, activate the Labyrinth Wall in order to get ourselves a name, as from here we'll then be able to use the souls to send to, and then we can go into our Samsara, or the Shamisen, I forget the name of this. But the cool thing about this is that it is a level 3 tuner that you can happen to quick synchro on your opponent's turn with the Wandering Griffin Rider, or even any of your Gate Guardian names if you happen to special summon them back off of the fusion effects. From here we'll also be able to go into the Gate Guardians combined, activate the other Labyrinth Wall, as we'll be able to get ourselves back a name from the Banish Zone, and this will round out our end board. Now for the next 2 hands, I'm not going to do the adventure version because I do feel if you're playing the Synchro version of the deck, which is kind of what I want to showcase, it maybe isn't better to play the adventure stuff because you start to accumulate on the bricks you have to play. But we're going to start this one by normal summoning or using the Labyrinth Wall, and then we'll be able to use the Labyrinth Wall's effect in order to get ourselves a name, special summon out the Magician's Souls by sending the Kazajan. From here we can get ourselves a draw 2, as we'll draw into the Shadow Ghoul and a Book of Moon. We'll use the Shadow Ghoul to get ourselves the Labyrinth Wall, use the effect of the Assault Synchron, and as you saw previously, this gives us access into the Goyo Defender. Do keep in mind, you're either going to play the Samsara or the Shamisen or the Goyo Defenders. You're never playing both, but we're now going to special summon out both of the Goyo Defenders from our extra deck to go into the Isolde. Use the Isolde, not the search effect, in order to special summon out the Renaud and send ourselves the armor, as now we can get ourselves back the armor with the Renaud. Go into our Apo, which will protect our plays from here as we normal summon the heavy tank. Get our Suijin, as we'll then be able to go into our Gate Guardians combined, special summon out the Sharinga, go into your Charles, your Shenshen. I only want want to show that you can special summon out the Charles, because for whatever reason you don't get the metal armor back off of something like Bell, then you do have this, but here you'll want to equip the armor onto the Gate Guardians combined. I'm not going to, just to show that you can still Charles from your hand. From here we'll get ourselves a name, as we're just going to go to the end phase. Then you can equip the metal armor to the Charles if you would like to. Again, in most cases, or really in the most ideal cases, you're going to be equipping it to the Gate Guardians combined, but just to show you can do this, we'll equip it to the armor and protect the Charles with the Gate Guardians combined, which also makes for a pretty interesting combination, considering that you can bring out stuff like Shen for this. For this final hand, I want to show what happens when you have a Bystial, and it's because when you're playing these level 2 tuners that we got in Battles of Legends Monstrous Revenge, the Bystials become even better. So we're going to activate our Labyrinth Wall, as we'll be able to get ourselves a name, and from here we'll then be able to normal summon the Heavy Tank in order to get another name, as we're going to get the Kazajan, go into our Wind and Water, I think it's called, as we'll special summon out the Sharnga, go into our Crocosaur, which will net us a draw 1. This is another good Synchro 9 that you can play, because once you start drawing into potential pieces and stuff like that, if you aren't able to go into a Gate Guardian fusion earlier, then you probably will be able to through the potential draws that this deck has with stuff like Souls and the Crocosaur, but we're then going to be able to use the Magna Hut now, as we'll banish the Heavy Tank, use the effect of Magna Hut for the search, special summon out the Assault Synchron using its effect, take the 700 damage, go into the Axel. Axel can then revive the Assault Synchron, as we'll then go into the Baron and round our end board on that. Now with all of the combos out of the way, I'm going to get onto the 2 deck profiles. I'll be showing one for the adventure version and without, and you'll see that we are on an extremely low fusion count. I think if you want to play the Synchro build of the deck, there is no other choice but to lower the fusion count and then rely on the combine so that you can take advantage of the metal silver armor the most as you draw into your pieces with stuff like Souls or Crocosaur, or you can just send the Kazajan and stuff like that off of the Souls, and then you just have other ways to get pieces via the Gate Guardian spells that you play that you can also pitch off Souls and stuff like that. But that's obviously outside of your 9 main searchers of the deck, or even the 10 with the terraforming, that just get you individual pieces regardless. Down here you'll also see that there's a plethora of options that you can play. The adventure version I will be showing on the next list, but you also do see that you can play the Hero Lives and the Prisma if you want to turn the Prisma into an extra name and potentially send a name to the graveyard. I've also seen people use the Plasma and the D-Force as a way to play around targeting stuff that is going on right now with Kashtira, and I think that's kind of interesting, but it does feel like you're kind of hoping to get those 3 monsters on board, which is kind of what scares me, even though the Synchron version does easily special summon out the Assault Synchron and the Sharnga along with the Souls, so there is that. You'll also see that the Branded Fusion and the Albaz is something else that you can play if you would like to. It's just another small engine that you can turn into a quick disruption, though it does take some extra deck space as well. The Fusion deployment, just access to another name. The Full Armor Master, if you really want to make the Sharnga better, then you can use the Sharnga instead of the Baron, but I just think that because the Baron is so universal, it makes it better. And of course there's the Psychic End Punisher. I would like to keep in mind that some of your Gate Guardian Synchros or Fusions are actually level 9, and being able to just make a Psychic End Punisher, which can be a really tough out for your opponent, especially in a grind game, turns this into a pretty solid option in my opinion. The only linked monsters that we have are the Isolde and the Appaloosa for the combo with the Goyo Defenders, but outside of that, I really don't have too much else to say about this, so I'll get onto the card by card before going on to the adventure build. So we have the 1 Sangha, the 1 Suijin, the 1 Kazajan, the 3 Heavy Tanks, the 3 Shadow Ghouls, the 3 Labyrinth Wall, the 1 Terraforming Armor, Renaud, the 3 Tuning, the 3 Assault Synchron, 2 Souls, 2 Illusion of Chaos, Sharnga, Double Attack, the Riryoku, the 2 Small Worlds, 1 Called by the Grave, Druis Worm, Baldrake, and Magna Hut, the 3 Imperms, and the 3 Book of Moons to round out the main deck. Now, I also would like to point out that I am on the Book of Moons Moons and Imperms in this particular deck because I like to be able to pair my Gate Guardian fusions with other set back rows, and when playing a version like this that can just go into Appaloosa and then make a Gate Guardian fusion, you're just in a position where you don't really want to lose to something like Dark Ruler or even something like Zombie World that can turn your monsters into zombie and then super poly you. So really just board wipes in general is why I like the idea of playing the Book of Moons and the Imperms as cards that you can set paired with your Bystials that happen to be extenders / potential hand trap. Onto the extra deck, we have the Wind and Water, we have the Water and Thunder, and the one Thunder and Wind. You'll see that we are on one each, and this might look kind of crazy for your standard Gate Guardian list, but because the Mind Hacker is now banned, we can freely play the one Sangha, the one Suijin, and the one Kazuijin, so that's kind of why I'm doing it as well. We also have the 3 Goyo Defenders, the Axel, the Shenshen, the Crocosaur, the Baron, the Psychic and Punisher, Isolde, and App to round out the deck profile. Onto the Adventure version, you'll see that this one is a fair bit different. I also think that you shouldn't probably play the tuning in this version if you're going to play it. I'm just showing it paired with the Small World because you can play it, but I would personally play 3 Small World. Something that I didn't mention in the pure build is that, yeah, playing the tuning can be kind of scary because if you're unlucky, you mill one of your Garnets or just one of your pieces, which can hurt, but at the same time, because you have the Assault Synchron stuff along with the Souls, the Heavy Tank, and the Shadow Ghoul, which can easily get you into names along with the Labyrinth Wall, I feel like the versatility of the deck is much higher because each hand is capable of doing different things. Now, I would like to point out that this empty card here is Chaos Angel. It is for the Shamisen. This is just something that you can quick synchro on your opponent's turn and then banish something, but I would like to point out that it does require another Dark level 7 or another Light level 7 for it to really make use of, and sometimes you are using your Griffin in order to quick synchro, as you saw in the test hand, so it really depends on what you want to do. This is another version that can easily go over 40 because of the amount of 1-ofs that you're playing with the Zephyros, the Sharnga, the 2 Gate Guardian spells, and then you have your Adventure bricks. Outside of that, everything is still pretty similar to the first list except you're playing the Adventure engine, and you have less stuff for going second stuff, which is kind of a hindrance too. You'll also see that I've kept the fusion ratios the same, and I know that this may look crazy, especially with Kashtira Unicorn still in the format, and you can still take out stuff like Underworld Goddess if you want to put in a second name, just for the reassurance, but again, it really depends on how you want to play it. I feel like when you're playing the Synchro version, you do want to conserve that extra deck space for other options so that your hands aren't so linear, but those are just my 2 cents on it. I think the other cool thing about this build is the way that you're able to take the IP Masquerena and turn it into an Underworld Goddess so easily, as this can really mess with your opponent, especially when they start trying to out your Gate Guardians and you get the names back and stuff like that. But I think that's really all I have to say about this deck profile, as I really went over everything that I wanted to in the replays and the previous one. So onto the card by card, we have the 3 tanks, the 3 Shadow Ghouls, the 3 Labyrinth Wall, the 1 Sangha, the 1 Kazuijin, the 1 Suijin, the 2 Rights, the 2 Aquas, the 1 Foolish, the 1 Griffin Rider, the 1 Zephyros, the Fateful, Draco Back, the Tuning, the 2 Small Worlds, the 2 Magician Souls, the 2 Illusion of Chaos, the 3 Assault Synchron, the 1 Sharnga, the 1 Double Attack, Gate Guardian, Riryoku, the 3 Book of Moons, and the 3 Imperms to round out the main deck. Onto the extra deck, we have the Shamisen, the Boreas Storm, Zeta, Axel, Shenshen, Crocosaur, Baron, the Wind and Water, the Thunder and Wind, the Water and Thunder, the 2 Combined, the Masquerena, Unicorn, and Goddess to round out the deck profile. Anyways, if you made it this far into the video, I thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. It's Bones, signing out.